it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helgan Quill and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danan mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah. I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dan is still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live, and I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, it's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. and the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still, even now, there remain ardent dissidents.
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis, after this is all over?
Indeed. I have fully accepted the burden of that responsibility. In that regard, I remain determined. On that note, I have something of a favor to ask of you, Alphen.
Oh? What is it?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator so that the Renans can live on Dana peaceably. As the one and only Blazing Sword, I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say when problems arise.
And I take it that you'll be the one to represent the Renans?
Yes. I realize that I'm asking quite a lot of you. However, the fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan society without any bloodshed. That is why...
You're the same as ever, Dohalim.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's no need for that. We're friends.
You're too kind. I can see you were raised well.
That's some high praise, Alphen.
Then I'll ask once again, this time just as friends. Alphen, will you help me?
You don't even need to ask. Of course I will.
Thank you, my friend.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah, I want a future that she would feel proud to live in, and I'm going to fight for it.
Whoa there, Savior Girl. We're here to save you too, you know.
Yes, I know. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I want to live, and that's the honest truth.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dan is still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is. Our minds are made.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
answer for me.
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, Then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Havrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Havrek 35 to...
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit?
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. there were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I think I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe.
Hevrick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember saying anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were thinking?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Shion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrick 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything that we...
The Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena.
So the...
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait, can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
They're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own pace. Shield from Calamity. Take this! Resonate with the earth! Soil. Awaken and reborn!
Here's evil, kid!
I'm ready! All yours, Kisara! Excellent technique. How are your weapons holding up? That's not to give me any idea.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope no one can see.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Shion actually look flustered.
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this. But if it happens again, you won't find me hesitating to act.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. We have to stay the course.
You know, guys...
We have...
bad feeling about this.
I'll take you up!
These are around us. Damn it! Back into the
No further!
We've turned the tables on it. Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Here we go! And again!
They smite with Rising Falcon! Lightning Thrust! Be still! Great!
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate.
Mirage! Dragon Form!
By now, wings will save you.
In an instant! Impact Block! More? Struck!
Elusive deity!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for you truly.
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Demon Fang!
Resonate with the earth!
Destruction! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
More Sukos?
Keep calm and take them down.
You to shreds!
You're mine!
One more time! Elusive deity!
Take this!
I'm ready!
All yours, Kisara!
Elusive deity! A chain between heaven and earth shall escape my judgment. Will against steel! Get on in there with the evidence!
Council! Rising Falcon!
I'll blind you with
Now!
you can't get out of this!
Take this!
Rinwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around.
More of them?
There!
Certainly not.
Now we can tear the shreds!
Rising
All day!
Mirage! Shockwave Blast!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact Block!
Reinforce it! It's the wind!
Be still! Start up! Rising Falcon!
Lunar
Thrust!
Air thrust! Where are you going?
Here I come!
Ready!
Shockwave Blast!
You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
Here I hope there was easy.
No, Astral energy!
Say no more.
Well done.
Now or never.
Where are you going? The chain between heaven and earth.
Azure Storm!
Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! More?
Elusive deity!
Demon Fang!
Do it!
Deity! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block! More? Rising Water!
Where are you going?
Do it!
Dragon Swarm!
Glacial Spear.
Demon Fang!
Now, we don't have firearms here on Danner.
I can show you mine if you like.
That would be really awesome to know.
Alpha! Blew away!
Magic Bam! Air thrust!
Bloody Demon Fang!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
I must keep striving.
You can ease off yourself.
Pot calls the kettle black.
Good advice for all of us, to be honest.
Even in such a harsh environment as this, there are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down...
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Freezing storm!
Okay, here I go.
That'll bring you down. I'm ready.
Insects should stay on the ground.
Stay calm, pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
A whirling storm. Winds of heaven.
Everlasting darkness. Negative gate.
I'm ready.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
There you go, Alvin.
It's time to end this battle.
I'm right beside you.
Technique.
How are your weapons holding up?
That's not to give me any idea.
As impressive as always.
Here I hope there wasn't peace.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
On your knees.
Radiant Pierce.
Take this! Rising Wyvern!
Gale Force.
I'm ready! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Hey! Poodle's quivering. I think we're about to be real lucky.
I shall ensure you survive this. Spirits within the soil.
Swordblade Alpha! Flew away!
On your knees. Your reflexes will not serve you well here.
Freeze Lancer. Hands in the wind. I'm ready. Radiant Flight. Pierce.
Prepare to be sealed. Actually, that sounds more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing.
Resonate with the earth.
Lunar Rumble! Rising Phoenix! Double Demon Fang! We've turned the tables on him.
There are still more left.
Right. No time to hold back. Destruction!
You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out.
How could a girl ever say no?
As impressive as always.
And here I hope that wasn't true.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I'm ready for the next battle.
This one's tough!
Shield from calamity.
You got company.
Barrier.
Double Demon
In a bind. The spot of peace. Anyone?
Death in the wind!
Now, astral energy.
Say no more!
Well done.
Prepare to be sealed. Actually, that sounds more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing.
You require Take this!
I'm only getting started.
Don't suffer in silence. A thrilling performance.
Freeze Lancer.
You're mine! Ignite!
Back to the fray.
Double Demon Fang!
Can't get out of this!
Glacier Field. Here's evil.
Do it! This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes.
So, fire and earth astral energy, huh?
A perfect combination.
Looks like some solid equipment. Really bad feeling about this.
To me, I shall ensure you survive this.
Between heaven and earth. Ray!
Let them
A
not
wailing dancing of lightning.
Try this! Infernal Torrent!
Glacial
Azure
Field.
Storm!
Here's evil.
Double Demon hit!
stand back.
I'll trip it up.
A wailing Dempsey of lightning. Magic is out. In here.
In a bind? We did it!
As impressive as always.
Here, I hope that wasn't true.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Easy peasy. Ha hoodle.
Brace yourselves! This one's tough! Ignite!
A wailing Dempsey of lightning.
Plasma shock!
On the handshake. Arctic fire complete lunar corruption.
No further! Sonic thrust! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for.
Don't get in my way.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Thanks so much.
You're mine! Soaring Light Spear! You're the way to be let free!
Here's the evil.
Solar Blade!
Elusive field.
Rising Wyver! Soaring Blast!
Go right up.
Take this!
Magic is there.
Dragon Claw!
Blah, blah, blah. Science is watching.
Can you take it? Plasma Shock! Lunar Rondo! Rising
Do it.
Phoenix! Remote!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well,
These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw on the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps... This is the true architectural style of the Helgangua. Or perhaps...
No holding back.
Me the strength to march on.
Stay calm.
I shall provide assistance. From calamity.
These things really get on my nerves. Dance in the wind!
Pesky airborne scoundrels.
Sounds like a job for yours truly. Winds of heaven.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! On your knees. Take this!
Too much for him.
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
Prep training. Hang on.
They rending you apart! Bloody howling!
Divine
Rising
air thrust.
I've still got a ways to go! Looks like trouble with capital T! Together, we've got this! Okay. Talon Storm! I'll take you all on!
Fall into thy own death.
Shield from calamity! Here I come! Burn! Swallow dance! Watch this! I'm ready! Burn! Swallow blade!
With a thrust!
Bestow on me!
This one's got your name on it!
Action to action!
Raging Cascade!
I'm
Here.
Here I come!
I'll be saving you!
Devastation! Rising Phoenix!
Let's do it! Let's go! Calaglia ho!
Come again?
You don't know it? It was all the rage back in Calaglia.
This will be a delicious piece of cake!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Everlasting dark! Negative double demon fang! Incineration wave!
Careful! It has some kind of camouflage!
Does it?
Celestial order!
Carried away! Double demon fang! Rising wyvern! Stardust! Can't get out of this! Blow away! Rising sun!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Wind astral energy! Raging Cascade! In here!
Can you take it?
Get on it!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Lightning star! Hurricane Super! Hurricane Thrust!
No! I won't give in!
Hurricane Thrust!
Another incantation ruined.
All right! Let's leave the enemy's arc to me!
No complaints here!
Your power.
I feel like me if our arcs are being interrupted.
Smash you! Tear! I'm ready! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! We're a pretty lethal combination, aren't we?
What? had a good partner.
Those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
This one will be difficult to predict.
No further! Rising Wyvern! Azure Storm! Come and face me! That buzzing is driving me mad!
Winds of heaven! Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
I'm ready!
All yours, Kisara!
Here's a healing starting wind! Carnage!
Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She is strong. She can prepare to be sealed over the foot. Actually, half a pound is more appropriate.
Let's talk!
Perhaps we ought to recuperate for a while.
I agree. Fighting in this state would be reckless.
I've got a really bad feeling about this!
I owe you one! Dragon Storm!
Can't get out of this!
I owe you one!
Two heads!
Dragon Storm!
There!
Our incantation ruined.
Double Demon Fang! Burn in hell! You're mine! Now or never! Take this! Begin!
The fluidity of her movement is simply incredible.
Double Demon Fang! Crush!
Raging
Eternal Devastation!
No dawn shall break this night.
Swallow Blade! Crush!
A wailing fancy of
Double
lightning!
Demon Fang!
Shine!
Time to let it rip!
Regenerate!
Slash! Coming through! Ha! Mount! Scarlet Inferno! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Spirit within the soul.
Crush! Burn in hell!
Sleep on it! I'll do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! With your flames and my technique,
We're stronger together than we are apart.
this one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Hurricane Flood! Rising Phoenix! Double Demon Fang! Demon Fang! I owe you one. Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! This could be useful.
Hey, that looks pretty good.
normal creepy crawlies aren't distracted enough.
Tame the clock. Feel.
No further! Swordlet form! Dragon form!
There you go. Don't let up.
They smite the dragon blade!
Only one. You get the gist.
Rising Wyvern!
Get on
Soaring
shine
light
together.
spear!
Thanks for the healing.
Watch it,
Yeah, you too.
Flame inside me! Yours to be let free! Here I come! Swordlet
Another incantation ruined.
Do it.
in an instant! Impact block!
With this, I can become even stronger. I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Eat them! Come one, come all! In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Finally time it.
All mine! Demon Fang!
Pile.
Infernal Torrent!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
Thank goodness we won.
What's with that shining foe over there?
We got some...
Good equipment!
I can't say its appearance is to my tastes, personally.
This won't be easy. Don't be such a pessimist.
What in the world?
Don't worry,
I'm all right. I'm still standing.
Reflect on that. Demon Fang!
Sealed. This'll fix you up.
Can't get out of this!
Recover.
I'm in your debt.
Flaming Thrust! Rising Fang! Sonic Thrust! Soaring Alpha!
The fluidity of your movement is simply incredible.
Demon Fang!
Another incantation ruined.
This one's mine. Lightning raging
Flame inside me! Yours to be let free!
I'll be saved.
Double Demon Fang!
Luna Storm!
Vanquish darkness. Back into the fray.
You're mine! Severing Wind! Mirage! Shock!
Let me see what I can do!
Glacier spear. Here's evil.
Demon Fang!
Igor, breathe laser. Let me show you what my art can do. The flames will roar.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll heal you all.
Swap the flame inside me! Yours
Do
to
it.
be let free!
Dohalim.
Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis. Am I- on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood. That's no ordinary enemy I see over there. This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Rising Wyvern! Time to cross blades!
Freezing storm. I swear.
Airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for you truly.
How are your weapons holding up?
As impressive as always.
Here I hope there was improvement.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever. I've never seen Sion actually look flustered.
Freeze laser.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you! Okay, here I go.
A wailing banshee of lightning! I never miss! Sleep now!
Not much longer to go.
Come on, one final push.
Let's do this together, Alvin.
Here I come! You're on!
Leave the charges to me.
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
Azure Storm!
Radiant light.
Double demon
Regeneration.
It can hide itself?
Incantation ruined.
Now!
In an instant! Impact block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed wall.
Now let loose. Double demon fang!
I shall ensure you survive this.
Take this!
I'll face you.
Plasma shock! Hurricane thrust! Rising tornado! Rising wyvern! Mirage!
A charge like that can easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
So weak.
Quit pushing yourself and get behind us!
I'll be right at Rain in no time.
An astral box?
That's my cue.
I'm ready! Shut him down!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
With your flames and my technique,
We're stronger together than we are apart.
What do you think this place was for?
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No, they appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Danans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegis. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedures somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
so what you're saying is that all of these are Danon, or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
huge lumbering beasts lately.
It's no ordinary fuel. That much is damn sure.
Watch yourself. All bets are off when it comes to this thing. I owe you one. Eternal Fastness is all mine. Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang!
By the power of water!
Its head is 3 points? We'll need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's start with the one in the middle.
Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang!
Bloody howling! Our arts are being interrupted.
Holy land! Too much to handle? Searing flame! In here!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Heal my weary companion. Cure!
You're mine! Ignite! You're mine!
Does it hurt? Catapult!
Where are you going?
Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang!
Take this!
Into the
Incineration Wave!
I can carve through
There
armor!
you go!
Raging
You're up!
Luna Storm!
Not on my watch!
I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There!
Dragon Swarm! Cast through! Double Demon Fang! Incineration Wave!
Reflect on thy sin. They smite with blackened blade! Flash execution!
Ocean Fury! Double Demon Fang!
Benediction light.
Demon Fang!
Watch yourself. I sense incredible
Wrong
power.
fight! Cast through! Swallow Blade! Hurricane
Shattering to pieces!
Damn it!
Double Demon Fang!
Nothing gets by me.
Swallow Blade! Double Demon Fang! I could do without that. Hey, I owe you one. Thanks, Fiona.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. Demon Fang!
My brain's coming from you.
I said almost. Don't get carried away. Not in your dreams. It's about to strike.
Enough done! Look sharp, everyone!
No further.
Rising Phoenix! There! Burn!
They smite with blackened blade!
Win! Devastation!
Thanks for the healing. Watch yourself, okay? Yeah, you too. I'm out of ammo.
Azure Storm! Demon Fang!
I'm all stuffed up.
Here I come!
I'm ready. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests.
What do you mean?
You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dolaroom's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say. So, back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are, at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up, and vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
I guess this is the flip side of that pathway we were... walking on just a little while ago.
This is crazy. Who knew such amazing technology existed?
Everything's up! Yeah!
Hey.
Yeah!
Just...
I guess... Thanks.
Huh?
All right.
All right.
Got it.
I think Hoodle senses something.
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
This won't be easy. Don't be such a pessimist.
You're mine! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Radiant
Rising Falcon! Sonic Drop!
Thank you, Tara.
Double Demon Fang! Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang! Dragon Swarm! Wide open!
It won't escape me.
Sword Rain Alpha! Pull away!
I'm all stopped up. Annihilation.
I'll thank you.
Rosy Fury! I'm ready! Chill!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
What are those? They look like Shion's thorns, and with flowers too.
Not real ones, though. They're just like that flower growing out of Rena.
We must be getting close to the Great Spirit now.
Hey, Rinwell, what was that thing you said about how a little bit of Dana's great spirit is inside all of us?
Right. That's why Dana's great spirit is so much more diluted. Weak, even. Whether it was a choice so it didn't overpower others, or just the way it is anyone's guess.
If that's true, then wouldn't it mean Dana's will could never form under natural conditions?
Yeah, sounds like that's probably the case.
So if Dana exists within all of us, then what if something occurred that brought everyone's hearts and minds together as one? That unity could potentially act as Dana's will.
You mean if everybody was, like, thinking the exact same thing at the exact same time? Come on, there's no way we could pull that off.
I know it's a long shot, but it might work.
Let's assume that's even possible for a second. Would it even be enough to fight back against Rena's great spirit?
If nothing else, it might be an option if we can't use the Rena Salma.
Things are different here than on the...
So here's...
Really bad feeling about this. One's mine. Sight. Not on my watch.
Ready.
It's a duel.
Commander of Heaven. Phoenix Buffalo.
You got company. Air thrust. Not much longer to go.
Come on. One final push.
Let's do this together, Alvin.
The heavens must be smiling.
The design of this equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alvin.
That's no ordinary enemy I see over there.
Go no further.
A scream.
Damn it! Rending you a bloody hell!
In the sky.
Soaring light spear!
Not on my watch. They look cute and stuff, but they're big.
Rising Wyvern! Hurricane Thrust! We got fire! I'm ready! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Buffalo!
Charlemagne Ranger. None shall escape her. Arrow Squall. I can do this all day.
An astral art?
That's my cue.
Shut him down! Burn!
Piercing
Rending you apart!
Freeze Steel.
Double
Here,
demon
let me
fang!
help the other. First aid.
Destruction!
Whoa. One at a time. Pierce.
Azure Storm!
None shall escape my judgment.
One keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Wonderful. Freeze Lancer. Too much to handle.
Rising Wyvern! Fluid kick!
Searing Flame. Reload.
Blazing Falcon!
Pierce.
This one's all mine!
Whirling Struggle.
Eat this!
Wind Spear. Pierce Evil. Freeze
Try this.
Lancer.
Explosive ring!
I'm all stuffed up. Banana. Annihilate. Mega Ray. Freeze Lancer.
Time to let it rip! Azure Storm!
Mega Ray.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me help. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin.
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you.
Double demon fang! Now I can
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
I know fine weapon material when I see it.
Looks like some solid equipment.
The abyssal deep is here for us to pass. Victory is within.
Be careful, everyone. This one isn't normal.
The airborne scoundrel.
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Try this. Air pressure.
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Well done.
More Suko?
I thought you were going
calm
to
and
wreck
take
the
them
place.
down.
I'm not nearly finished yet.
Then I'll provide assistance however I can.
As impressive as always.
Where I hope that was improved.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Your blade moves like silk. That is what my instinct is over.
Kitara, frozen!
Hammer!
Light energy! Lightning down!
Total Demon Fang! More? Total Demon Fang!
Here's evil! Freeze laser! None shall escape my judgment!
Lightning Thrust!
Leave the enemy's arms to me!
No complaints here!
Take this!
Cyclone! Dance in the wind!
Negative
Whirling struggle!
Dazzle!
Up in here!
Spirit within the soil.
Dragon Form!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
There you go, Outlander!
It's time to end this battle.
I'm right beside you!
Sword Lane Alpha! Burning Strike!
To die next! A wailing damage! High speed! Air thrust! You get the gist!
Demon Lash!
Here I come!
Starting Mega Ray! Carve Annihilation! Crossblade! A chain between
Rising Warper! Tear! Rising Phoenix!
Stalagmite!
You're mine! Jump!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
Well, am I improving?
Tremendously. The speed and precision of your aim is simply unmatched.
I had no idea you were watching me so closely.
Hey, new equipment!
are putting up a real fight.
That just goes to show how important this place is.
Or perhaps they simply thrived freely.
The astral energy here is so dense. It's like trying to walk through water.
I know the Great Spirit's will is in the center of Rena, but with the world in this state, the entire planet has become its body, right? So doesn't that mean we're already inside it?
I would say that is horrifyingly correct. After all, the further we climb, the denser the astral energy becomes.
What's the matter, Rinwell? Are you not feeling all right?
No, it's nothing like that. It just feels like the energy here is a little more intense than it was before.
You mean Rena's energy?
Yeah, it's like when I made contact with Dana's will in the wedge. It's almost as though I can understand what Rena's will is thinking.
But Rena's will is supposed to be a lot stronger. Aren't we risking the Great Spirit controlling us if we interact with it directly?
I don't think we have to worry about that. Rena's will is only supposed to control true Renans, like the Helganquil. If we can discern what the Great Spirit is thinking too, we might learn something, a weakness. But just to be safe, let me contact it alone.
Are you insane? Rinwell, you're gonna...
Rinwell!
There was only meant to be one world. And your goal is to make them one. Is this fear? What just happened?
Are you all right? Rinwell? Rinwell, are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I think.
What were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed!
He's right. You had us all terrified, Rinwell.
I'm sorry. I really am. But I know now. I know how the Great Spirit thinks. I know what it wants, how it feels. Rena's Great Spirit wants to complete the world.
What's that supposed to mean? Are you saying it's trying to make something?
Yes, exactly. Originally, Dana and Rena were meant to be one world. But that never happened. They've stayed separated, and the Great Spirit wants to finish the process.
What do you mean, one world? How is that even possible?
I don't know, but its will is clear. That's what the Great Spirit is trying to accomplish. The only problem is that since Rena's energy isn't evenly spread like Dana's, it seems like it'll vanish before that happens naturally.
So it's trying to absorb Dana while it still can, so that it can force the two planets to unite. Is that what you're saying?
The Great Spirit is scared. But it's not scared the way a rational person would be. It's more raw and undiluted, like just pure fear.
Like an animal, acting out of instinct. Although admittedly, an animal would be easier to communicate with. At the very least, I have my doubts that it recognizes us as sentient beings with a reason for coming here. Earth, water, fire, and wind energy exist in both worlds, but only darkness and light can be found within Rena and Dana, respectively. The Renis Alma, as far as we know, the only host capable of harvesting the astral energy, is composed of all six. Knowing all that, Rinwell's findings do sound plausible.
That sounds a lot like Shion's thorns, doesn't it? The whole reason the Great Spirit is trying to unite Dana and Rena into one world is in order to save itself. And if her thorns are part of the Great Spirit, then they must also be trying to save themselves?
Alphen, what is it?
We thought the only way to free your thorns was for you to die. Yet despite that, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop that from happening to you. Something wasn't adding up. But then I just realized something. If the Great Spirit doesn't want to die, then neither would your thorns. Those same emotions, that fear, that determination, and its energy must have been the same thing that was keeping you alive. You were its vessel.
In that case, is that why her thorns caused so much pain to anyone who touched her? Because they were trying to protect themselves?
If that's all true, then... well, it's more than a little ironic.
The Great Spirit merely expresses its desires. I imagine it was the Helganquil who were likely tasked with putting together and implementing an actual plan.
Shion.
I'm okay. We need to hurry and clean this mess up before it gets out of hand.
Still, even if the current state of the world is wrong like you said, does that really make everything okay?
If the world had been whole from the start, as it should have been, there'd be no Dana and no Rena, no masters or slaves, no lords, no crown contest, maybe just peace.
To think...
See what you've got.
May a thousand gales carry
You
the
picked the
dragon.
wrong fight!
Elusive deity! Eagle Ray!
Dragon
I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alphen.
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you.
Nice. No scratches on my shield or my armor.
Out of our way.
Dragon Swarm!
Water, hear my call. Glacial spear. Here's evil. Do it, eagle.
In an instant! Impact block!
Let's keep our eyes on the prize.
I won't forgive you.
Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight!
Fluidity of your movement. Exploit the enemy's weakness.
Wide open!
It won't escape me.
Double Demon Fang! Destruction!
Divine Demon. Water, hear my call.
Raging Lunar Storm.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Take this!
Freeze Lancer. Purge Malevolence.
You're mine! Here I come! This one's all mine!
I never miss.
Try harder! Swallow Blade! Try this! Kisara! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone!
I wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
we go on this planet, there are machines littered everywhere.
It's impressive to look at as a bystander, but I sure wouldn't want to live here with all of this around.
I know what you mean. There are no fish here. I couldn't cook any of my delicious dinners for you all if we lived here.
Clearly the worst point against it.
This will be a delicious piece of cake.
Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang! Destructive!
A chain between heaven and earth.
Can't get out of this!
Lightning!
Here I come!
Burning
Awaken and reset! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Slash! Here I come! Coming through!
That could easily be faced.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Scarlet Inferno! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Here I go.
Demon Fang!
Standing form. Spread.
Here I go!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
Let's dispose of the trash.
One more. Radiant Bone Touch. Thunderblade. Holy Blah blah blah. Divide.
I'm ready!
Raging Luna Storm!
Raging Cascade.
Everlasting Shock!
Don't get in my way. Annihilation.
Megasonic Thrust!
They're not playing around.
Not today!
Blood. Sphere. Here's evil.
Demon Fang!
Dream. Free Thunder Field.
We must be tired of killing you. I'm merely doing what I can to help. Glad you're on us.
Thunder Field. Every blaster.
Charge like that could easily be faced.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Another incantation ruined.
In an instant! Impact Block! We work well together.
Like a finely timed blow.
Eat dirt!
Our beast is in the soil. Awaken and weep. Take this!
Double Demon!
This one's mine.
The abyssal deep. Offer us a path.
Slash!
Illuminate the dark!
Rising Rider! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Here I come! I'm ready!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
I think I'm getting stronger.
This will be a delicious piece of cake!
Rising Rider!
On your knees.
Lightning Thrust! Rising Falcon!
Steel!
Say no more.
Well done.
Sonic Raging Luna.
A comfortable win.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Shattering Raging
Reflect on that.
Blast the shot!
Lunar corruption!
Burn!
Elusive deity.
Lightning condemned!
Hitting pile.
Dragon form!
Illuminated!
Double Demon Fang!
I will hear you all!
Resonate with the earth.
Orochi's
Everyone, get back! It's too dangerous! Lunar corruption here! Lunar blast! Get on in there with the others! Up and out!
Rising Falcon!
Downfall! Fresh!
Elusive deity.
Double Demon Fang!
Arrow squall! It's over! I'm all stopped up!
Demon blast.
Annihilation!
Azure Storm!
Condemned!
Double Demon Fang! Incineration Wave!
Glacial steel!
I think I'm coming down to something grave.
A chronic inability to read the room?
A malady your art cannot
Rising
fix.
Falcon!
Snake control.
You picked the wrong fight!
An astral art?
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Astral energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had!
So those thorns of Shion's, they're really a part of Rena's great spirit?
Most likely, but only a small fragment of it in the big picture. I don't sense a will of its own emanating from them.
If it's that insignificant, is there that much point getting rid of it? You finally made it.
Yeah, just got...
Hey!
All right.
Hey, Alvin, what do you think of that chick over there?
Doesn't look like she really works out.
I'm not talking about her muscles, you dummy!
Hey. Right. Hi. Oh, great. Good. Nice. Thanks. Yeah.
Looks like we made it here in one piece. We should be able to cook here.
what we've been trying to find?
I wonder if we can use this.
Is this the so-called legendary instrument?
Actually, I think it's one of the freight train parts that I was using for a sword.
I'm sure anything will be fine. We should take it.
Is this the barrier that's keeping the Zugolin that Nath mentioned?
Looks like it. Our Zugol pal should be on the other side.
This barrier is weird. It looks old and half-finished. Plus, he said it was okay to break.
I mean, we won't need it anymore once the Zugol is gone, right? So what does it matter? Did they really think that barrier was enough for a Zugol like that?
It was. That thing was sturdier than you give it credit for.
Really? So that's the Zugol, huh? This should be a piece of cake.
Don't get careless, Law. What's that huge Zugol over there? This will be a delicious piece of cake.
The fluidity of your movement is incredible.
Shattering the pieces! Attack time!
I'm all done with this. I got this one covered.
Pierce through! Burn!
Shot! Radiant light! Regenerate!
Rising Phoenix!
Heads are often being interrupted.
Outstanding.
Double Demon Fang!
I never miss.
Eternal Devastation!
Amazing.
That's my cue.
Shut him down!
Shattering the pieces. Attack time.
Double kill!
What would I do without you?
Rising Viper! I'm not done!
Magic is there.
No further! You're on!
Got it.
I can carve through
Now
walls!
a chance.
You're mine!
Radiant light!
You're
Regenerate! Regenerate!
You picked the wrong fight!
To help you.
Spread. Magic is there.
I'm ready! In an instant! Impact block!
None shall escape my
Roaching Fury!
Shiny supernova. Dance in the wind. Feel.
Eternal Devastation!
Stockpile.
Prepare to be
In a bind?
Damn it. Out of ammo. Burn.
This is bad, right?
Yes, Alvin. Very bad.
I don't feel so good.
Anything in armor is all mine!
This one's mine. Glad you have your uses.
It's gonna tell!
I'll show you how
Dream. Lightning
Rising
condensed.
Wyvern!
Thunderblast. I can't hold on much longer.
Fury! Ignite!
None shall escape my judgment. Shiny supernova. Light illuminate the dark. Come forth.
Let's try harder!
Cyan instant. Raging storm. Annihilation.
Swallow! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Azure Storm! Double Demon Fang!
A thrilling performance. Another incantation ruined.
Lightning
Radiant light!
Rising Light!
Now you see what I can do!
Can't be a
He
lightning.
who prepares
Feel.
Sonic Thrust!
You and I fall together.
Here I come!
Not now, not ever!
Eat dirt!
Tempest engulfs you! Reflect on that experience.
I'm almost impressed. There you go. I said almost. Don't get carried away.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Arcane waterfall. Freeze Lancer. Dance in the wind.
Raging
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
No further!
Forgive me. This is my fault.
This should do it!
This will come in handy.
Azure Storm! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Such
Unadulterated
fury. You look sharp, everyone! Negative density! Now you see what I can do!
Ignite! Let's try harder!
Demon Ray! Eagle Ray! Take
Magic
this!
Kazam!
Double secret well! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Huh? What's a letter doing in a place like this?
Hell if I know. I highly doubt that Zoogle was trying to guard it. Still, somebody must have left it for some... Law.
Huh? What's up?
Something up?
It's from my old man. My dear son, I wonder how things will be between us by the time you read this.
In any case, I first want to congratulate you on all that you've accomplished. Making it this far requires a strong body, fine technique, an unwavering spirit, and most of all, friends that you can count on. If you have all of that, then I, as your father, have nothing to worry about. Those things together will always keep you on the right path. That brings me to what I really wish to discuss with you. As with all of us, there will someday come a time when you'll be a grown man who can and must think and act for himself. Whether you'll live in a world where blood will no longer be spilled between Danans and Renans, or when that day arrives, nobody can say. But even if peace still eludes us then, you'll have to decide how to live in this world. Listen to others with an open heart, but don't be swept away by their words. Always live on your terms. One more thing. If I ever see you again, I hope to say this to you in person, but neither of us knows what tomorrow may bring. Know this. Whatever you think of me, what I've done, your mother and I love you very, very much.
And there's nothing in this whole world that will ever change that. Your father, Zephyr.
Zephyr.
I can't believe he's only telling me all this after he's gone. What am I supposed to do with this?
Zephyr once told me that living freely meant being your own master. I think he wanted to make sure you know how he felt one way or another. What you do with that knowledge is up to you.
But that still doesn't explain why his father left that letter for him here, of all places.
Don't forget, we were led to this place. We may well get some answers if we go back to the source of all this.
We've reached our destination.
Hey.
Hey.
I guess... No way. Damn.
All right.
This is...
Thanks.
You okay?
Looks like we get to sleep with a...
This flavor, why, it rivals the cooking of my own chefs in the palace.
We've reached our destination.
Hey.
Huh? Yes. Oh.
Yay! What? Yeah!
Yes.
Yeah! We avoided getting roasted in that ring, but what we could really use is something to cap this off.
Sure. Got any ideas on what would be good?
Mabo curry. Fried bread stuffed with curry.
You'd probably buy out the whole stock.